This article refers to an analysis that was done of the genomes across 317 different species. The attempt was to see how much of the genetic code was what they call orphan genes, that is, genes that are only found in the particular species concerned, and how much of the genetic code across the 317 species is universal, something that, if evolution was true and we all derive from a common ancestor, might be an expectation, shall we say. Well, what they found was that amongst the 317 species, that about 24% of the genetic code worked out at being orphan, that is, unique to the species. And a small fraction of 1% was universal. And when they included bacteria and other particular forms of life, they discovered there was actually no universal element to the genetic code, which speaks volumes against the concept of one common descent in biology, but rather suggests, as the creation account would suggest, that this was each species created uniquely by God with its own particular unique way of doing things. There will be some commonality across some parts of the genetic system because some creatures and some biological systems have a similar design potentials, but there's nothing that's unique and universal across all life. It is like life is created as God intended it to be. It has its unique characteristics, some shared design features, but no more than that. Totally consistent with intelligent design, not the expectation of evolution. And I suspect as we delve deeper into the genetic code and allow ourselves to actually ask some challenging questions of the evolutionary hypotheses, we will see increasingly the evidence favours intelligent design and certainly contradicts the evolutionary story we've been told so far. And this matters. This matters a big deal, because if evolution is false, then the whole academic structure that our Western world has created over the last 100 years inevitably collapses, because the academic structure we have in almost every discipline assumes there is no God. Once you have proof that God exists, then you really need to ask a very important question before you start any academic discipline. What has God said on this academic discipline? And if God has said something that's pertinent to academic discipline, then that should be followed, not the cogitations of human brains, which are subject to limitations and also, based on the Bible, subject to sin and, even worse, subject to spiritual inputs that are not helpful. So the three problems we face with all knowledge-based situations is the problems of limitation, the problem of sin, and the problem of spiritual interference. And that's why we need the Bible, because the Bible alone is from God in terms of an undiluted source of information. And tragically, even the Bible has problems because we come to the Bible with our limited knowledge, our sinful tendencies, and spiritual inputs, which is why we do need to work as a community together, humbly looking into the Bible. But the truth is, if we come with the fear of God, with true humility, and with a desire to please God, then God is very good at opening up his scriptures so that we can understand them. But what we cannot do is come to knowledge believing there is no God, not listening to his word, and in what tantamount to incredible arrogance. Well, thank you for listening.